All right, so we're gonna tint the Lotus and see how it goes. I used to tint windows on a regular basis, and it's quite frustrating. So I've kind of paid somebody in the past, recently, in the recent past, to do my window tinting for me, but I don't really want anybody messing with this car, and I found just as much as I pay somebody to do it, they screw it up anyway. Even the professionals don't make it look perfect. So I'm a perfectionist. When I mess up a little bit, I get all bent out of shape, but I've noticed the professionals tend to mess up too. So I'm going to go back and try to do it myself on this car. I may get frustrated, I may give it up. I decided to go with 35% on the rear window and the front window. That's what's legal, and I'm in South Louisiana, and it's getting harder and harder to get an inspection sticker on these cars. I've got a Ford F-250 that's 17 years old, and now they've got a problem with the brow that I have across the windshield that doesn't even impede my vision. So I'm just tired of dealing with it. I'm hopeful that with 35% and these small windows, that the windows will look, pretty dark. If it doesn't, I'll pull it off and maybe go the illegal route, maybe put 20% on there. I definitely don't want to do limo tint. So starting with 35s, or 35%, I went with the Ultra Plus Gila. So I don't know if that's the way you say it the right way, but the Heat Shield Plus window tint. This is going to reduce glare, scratch resistant. It keeps your car cooler, and it blocks 99% of UV rays. So I'm hopeful this will protect the interior at the very most. 35% though is light. And that is not very dark. So we'll see. Once I do the two windows, we'll see what it looks like. I went ahead and cut a little section out, essentially like this, and then I'll trim it up here in a little bit and show y'all what it looks like. We'll go from there. Alright, so you're going to have to forgive my shirtless self, but it's hot down here. It's 100-degree heat index or more right now today, and I'm in the shade and I have a fan blowing on me, but I have to run later, so I don't want to sweat too much. But one of the little tricks that I use when I do this is I get some painter's tape. I will actually stick the piece up here, attach some painter's tape, and then do my trimming. You have to make sure when you use tint which side is the sticky side, and it's hard to actually peel the tint back with your fingers. And a little trick that I found over the years is you go to a corner that you're not maybe going to use, and use your teeth and just kind of go back and forth, and then you can actually fold the lip back and find out. So the tint sticky side is on this side. This side is going to be the side that goes up against the window, so you need to make sure you have that oriented right before you do your cutting. Alright, so I've made sure it fits right around the dotted line. You can see some bubbles in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the outside of the glass with the soapy water, and then I'm going to take a little squeegee, and I'm going to squeegee that off. If this is too big, especially for these windows, you can use like a little credit card or a debit card or something just to get it in there. Just don't do too much of hard pressure, because it'll scuff up the tint itself. But this one's, pretty much the size of the window, so you might want something a little smaller. So spray the outside, and then just real carefully squeegee all these little bubbles out. I would start from top to bottom. Alright, so first window, small as it is done. So put it in, made sure it fit around these sides here. So that's one. When it's all tinted, it should look a lot better. Right now you can still see through it pretty good, but we'll keep going with it. Is when you open these doors, the window will drop. So pull it and they drop down. Now that's going to create a problem in this seam here. I need to make sure I can tuck down enough tint here so that when it drops or when it raises back up, there's still tint there. But this is a really tight little fit here. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. This is where the frustrational part will either come in and I'll succeed or I won't. If you look, it'll go back up. Now, alright, so in theory, I can now cut what I need to as far as the shape of the tint. And then go to the inside of the car and stick it on, but it's never that easy. So I've cut the basic shape that I need for this piece to fit the window. So what I want to do now is one of two things. Take this piece and actually cut another piece for the other side so it's already done, so I don't have to go through the whole measuring process again, and then fine tune it. But from here, it's not exactly where I need it yet. I need to fine tune it and trim it up a little bit and see where I need to make some changes so that it'll slide in right, but it's a start. Alright, I got it on there. There's still a couple bubbles that I need to work out. I got a little crease in it trying to put it on there, so I don't know if that's going to stay or not, and that's why tinting windows is the most frustrating thing in the world. And 35%, quite honestly, sucks. I mean, 20% would look really good on this car, but that's not legal, and you can't get a stupid inspection sticker with it not being legal. This is without the back windows done. So, I mean, you can see there's a definite difference. But man, I mean, you can still see through that sucker so clean. And those windows that go up and down when you open the door, it sucks. So what I ended up doing was going inside the car, sitting in the car, and actually putting the tint on from the inside of the car. But I think because of the screw-ups that I had on it, I probably need to rip that piece off and start over again. So we'll probably do that, but I don't know, 35% worth it? We'll see. I don't like it. Didn't get done right. Guess I'm gonna rip it off and start over again. Bah. No bueno. So I finally got the windows tinted after a couple tries. 35%, I can tell you,
Sucks.
So with the windows where they actually, when you open the door, they sink, what I ended up doing is opening the door where the windows would sink. I put the tint along the top, squeegeed it in along the top, and worked my way down until I got down to the bottom edge here. And then I got in the car, closed the door, and then I squeegeed the rest down from the bottom. I also took a hair dryer. I feel like Bill Bowerman with his wife's waffle iron, and if you know the reference to that, you're a really good friend of mine for sure. But heated up the bottom because there's the window is concaved a little bit, so you have to get those ripples out, and that's what I still have to do on the other side at the bottom there. But nothing like using your wife's nice hair dryer to heat it up, since I don't have a heat gun. So